What is my name? My name is Zach. Nice to meet you. How will you use this information? Oh, what is up, everybody? The Accurate Zach is back, bringing you a new game for the Indie Binge. You are looking at Apollyon. This game was developed by Thunder. I believe that's how it's pronounced. This game is currently in early access on Steam. It's an interesting concept. Very interesting concept. It's choose your own adventure, except it's buried in the occult, submerged in the occult. I get the impression that it's going to be very lore-based, heavily story-driven. The colors are gorgeous. Let's begin the ritual. See what spirits we can summon. There was a time when hell walked the earth, not as a mass of blood tunnels and underground ravines, but as a god. There was a time when all the worlds beyond our own pressed closed, and you could slip between with but another fateful step. There was a time where blood and salt of man and God would be traded as gold, for they were the tools of the Apollyon, the Pontiff Leoness Apollyon who lived in those times, and this is his craft. Welcome, practitioner, to the Apollyon table and the river of life. Veiled practitioner, as many begin at the table, wary of those who brought them to Apollyon. The individual hides their face. The initiate will not grow to trust the other occultists, but they may learn the abilities required to protect themselves. The veiled practitioner is new to Apollyon, but will be twice as likely to find others that use the table, be they mentors, competitors, or villains. Old school RPG stats down here: strength, agility, willpower, intelligence, and charisma. Apollyon can be considered a choose-your-own-adventure, a roguelite, a strategy board game, or simply a story to enjoy. It's a narrative that develops with you, both in small arcs and large stories for character and table alike. The choices will matter, but it is also forgiving. For while you will die when any statistic hits 0, another practitioner may continue use of the table and keep the tradition going. This tutorial will take you through how to play, but can be skipped. Okay. Ooh. The Seekers. You run through dwindling starlight, quiet as can be, for a darker end lies behind you than what awaits within these gnarled woods. You hear roars of hounds and whisper a wish that it were simple hunting dogs and not the fleshless werebeast of Uria after you. You pair through snow, drifting so peacefully that you might forget how imminent your own demise may be, and see a waterfall nearly crystallized into ice due to the winter air. This is it. Look for an entrance, quick, before the headhunters arrive. Calm down, and think of what she told you. I know Apollyon well. I need no teaching. Nah, we're gonna calm down and think of what she told me. You try and slow your beating out, feeling the sting of fresh snow as it hits your exposed skin, watching the icy waterfall crash against the stones in a trance, as you recall the dreams you had. She came to you, this woman. She knew of how the Seekers were closing in upon you, and would soon be upon you, days before they truly came. She knew of what you have done, of why they sought your head on a pike, but she told you of a place they could never find, a place where your kind would be safe, a place where you would not be branded as in love with evil, but as a family. Surfacing and spitting water into the air, you clamber onto icy rock, desperately trying to warm yourself. The underground chamber is lined with candles, which shake and flicker as if in a wind, though you feel no such breeze. Standing and warming yourself by one, you feel strange, as if you've been here before. You look upon the stone ground and see your own wet footsteps behind you, and in front of you, where you have not yet walked, continuing perfectly ahead. With a held breath, you take a step forward, at first following the fated footsteps, but then decide to deviate. You go to take another step, this time to the side, but instead find your legs disobeying your command and walking forward. To your surprise, you continue to walk. You grip onto the stone wall and stop yourself, feeling all too familiar with this passage, with this place. Walk in concert with the footsteps. You walk obediently, taken with the strange perfection of these footprints' predictions, or rather, compulsion. With every step, a howling wind picks up and memories flood into your mind. that of this night, that of what follows, that of meeting the people within the underground ruin and finding a new home. You suddenly find yourself floating, rather than walking, in a twilight tunnel, as nearly translucent scepters drift past you. A figure stands, watching you, concerningly close and previously unseen. You stand, or rather float, to an upright position and look at her. It's the woman from your dream. You look at her shrouded face and she nods, seemingly in approval. I'm pleased to find that you have not come with ill intent. I apologize for sifting through your memories, but you understand my caution. She gestures above to where the headhunters are. Now, close your mind, for I have learned what I wished. Now it is your turn. What's my turn? You see her, also floating in this tunnel, but with strange double vision. You see her, also floating in this tunnel, but with strange double vision. You also see her sitting at a table, looking across from you. She pulls back her hood to reveal a young face, aged well beyond her true years, with sepia skin and a strange flicker behind her eyes. Focus. These memories happened some time ago. I merely needed to see them to trust you. Our bodies are still at the Apollyon table. Let us return to them. You close your eyes for a moment and suddenly feel a rush of sensation as the physical world returns to you. A waterfall crashes outside a marble-built chamber. You sit at this table with the woman, a table with 18 golden rings and 20 obsidian tokens. She's actively shifting each of them, working some sort of ritual. You look at her, suddenly aware of the last few hours. She nods solemnly. You are safe now with us. There are those among our community who have done similar things to what you have done, and those who practice darker forms of heresy. So as long as we thrive in safety and anonymity, we pay it no heed. I have guided them all using this Apollyon table for many years, and they have taken to it, as you may. You nod slowly, sifting through regained memories, slowly speaking up. You came to me in my dreams. How did you know of what I had done? How did you know of my childhood? How did you know I would be safe here, that I knew of Apollyon? She shakes her head. 'Twas not I. That was an entity of the table that I speak to regularly. He brings those to us who belong here, though he gives us no warning. As you seem interested in this table, she offers to show you how to perform rituals, knowing that you did not come here for simple amnesty. Okay. Apollyon. Both the game and the practice follow a similar formula. The practitioner will place the 20 tokens in an open position. Utilize the table to gain power over those tokens, which represent dimensions of power, such as terror, protection, etc. Shifting them to the right side of the table puts them in an open position, and the left side puts them in a banished position. Banishing more dangerous or unwanted tokens will allow safety or aided abilities. For example, banishing Limoset, the Hungry Abyss, is usually recommended as to avoid the attention of entities aligned with it. See, now I want him in my corner. I want to see what hungry entities are all about. I wasn't done reading that stuff. Shit. The woman introduces herself as Tara, but gives no information. She looks over you as you shift tokens on the table, ensuring that she keeps a few of the more dangerous ones locked away. You take easily to Apollyon, learning how to will the tokens to different positions and therefore control the themes, the dimensions of power in the outer dark that they represent and are tied to. She asks you simply as you look over the table. Apollyon is an occult craft, but also a tool for some to get what they need most. I am curious. What is it you wish to gain from it? I wish to uncover the secrets of the world. As do I, practitioner, she says. There are whispers on the winds and ancient knowledge within the older world, just barely out of reach. I would very might like to obtain that knowledge and hear what the whispers will. This trusty lantern grows dim. You may raise it to gain insight, but you have only 3 vials of oil remaining. Oh dear. The 11th tale out of the year begins with Civilization's Summit. I'm assuming that's supposed to be civilization. And ends with the Day of Peace. The script is but a glimpse of truth, but minds such as yours cannot withstand the ordered unsequence. Minds such as yours cannot truly know themselves. Not yet, for most simply obey and prosper. Except the effects of the day strengthen the influencer of Lyrian and weakens the opposite. Okay. Tale of Limoset, the Hungry Abyss. There he is! The 9th tale out of the year begins with the Hunter's Holiday and ends with the Day of Solitude. The beast will feed. The pretender will prey. This is the hunger that drives them, but it is not selfish to look after oneself. It is one's only true given task. Yeah. Every turn, 3 spirits will approach the table. These can be replaced with ones you know, but the rule of 3 shall be preserved. As these spirits are resolved, the player that resolves it will take any dice rolls and suffer the effects, weal or woe. Tara has given you an aspect of self. These will appear on the bottom right and will represent things physically, spiritual, and metaphorical that your character possesses or can do. A sword, an ally, a magical ability, knowledge of hidden treasure, a pact with the devil. Lovely. That sounds great. These will have up to 4 abilities, which may have cooldowns. On the other side will be invocations, which will replace upcoming spirits with those of your own summoning. She has shown you the rights to invoke a friendly spirit temporarily. These are more rare. Specific examples of each of these may be unlocked permanently. You may start every intention with a permanent invocation or self card as a practitioner, and a consumable self card that you've gathered. Tara has given you one such consumable to take with you through your practice. This is scary. I'm a little scared. Yes, I'm scared. Is that crazy? Is that crazy? I don't know. Tale of Metacopia. The Endless Earth. The 7th tale out of the air begins with the Solstice Festival and ends with the Restless Night. These celebrations help us to understand a great truth of ourselves without our minds. There's pleasure in the pathless woods. There is rapture in the lonely shore. There is benevolence where none intrude, and by the deep sea with music in its roar. The subtle magnetism by which nature, if we unconsciously yield to it, will direct us aright. Tale of Folifi, the source of positive energy. We need that. The 8th tale out of the air begins with the Day of the Dead and ends with Daredevil Day. It is said that the storyteller from beyond time and beyond the sun creates and writes all things, from the smallest gust of wind to entire cosmos. We are all on his path and are not destined to understand every piece. We must simply play our part and revel in it. Holy Lantern of Apollyon. A mote of light descends from somewhere in the sky, hovering before you for a moment. Before a melodic sing-song voice chimes and echoes speak up. Oh, I must have gotten stuck in Sartova again. Someone ought to make the bears a little stronger. You mortal, would you like a gift? Of course! The wispy ball of light floats closer, descending onto your palm and warbling softly, leaving something in your palm before ascending back into the sky. It's a lantern. Excellent. Okay. Healing Balm of the Empire. The Second Uric Empire has made great use of alchemical components throughout the world. This burlap poultice is one such example. It will save you from death if used when the need is great. Oh. Caligar, the Veil of Lies, is banished. Typhon, the Horrors in the Night, is banished. Let's continue keeping him banished. Limiset, the Hungry Abyss, is also banished. That's fine. Oh, good. They have pronunciations. That's awesome. Appreciate that. The tables approach. Tara moves many of the tokens closed, one by one, as a veil seems to lift around you. However, the ritual is not finished until all tokens are opened and removed from the table. It is not until that the powers are released and the practitioner is once again safe and hidden from their ire. She looks to you again. The night is long, my friend, and there may be many spirits that we shall encounter. I must ask, what is it that you bring? How will you deal with the spirits and the monsters and the deal makers and the unknowable entity? She looks to you again. The night is long, my friend, and there may be many spirits that we shall encounter. I must ask, what is it that you bring? How will you deal with the spirits and the monsters and the deal makers and the unknowable entities of the other worlds? How would you like to? That's such a question. There are many dark powers that speak to them and use them. Even spirits can be felled by a cryptstone blade. I shall fight those. I can't read the rest of it. I want to read the rest of it. Through my mind runs magic and tactics alike. Let's do that one. I admire those that plan for every eventuality and have the presence to wield such powers through their mind alone. The table will allow you to access even more of such powers. However, while spirits think in desire and memory, there are 16 other worlds you are forgetting, and beings from stranger places still. Oh dear, it's so cryptic and scary. As Sartova freezes over, we've already seen that. The tales of winter grow stronger. The autumn holds a tranquility and a slowing peace, but within these groves of amber trees and behind the joy of harvest lies many dark forces. I accept that. I accept that entirely. Effects may be upon the practitioner, which will appear on the right side of the screen and may be clicked on for additional info. Effects and tests will appear in the chat box as well and may be clicked on for greater detail, so the game may be enjoyed without such a close inspection. Fair enough. Keep in mind that progress is not saved unless the ritual is complete, though it is even if your own character is dead at the time another completes it. Specific tokens provide greater resources and tools if you find yourself stuck upon intention. You're ready. Go and do. I'm ready. Let's get into it. I'm so freaked out and so very wary of my situation. Tara releases all the tokens, letting you end the ritual. You know the ritual now. Its simplicity allows it to be spread easily, which helps it to survive the inquisition of those which fear the entities they do not understand. Follow the rules of Apollyon. And above all, do not approach the oubli. Too many have tried and have died doing so. I do not want to approach that. I know what those are. They're the worst, like little dungeony traps, barely enough room to move around. Usually spikes involved. I don't want anything to do with that. So the tutorial has been completed. Let's see what other... Dark bargains. Do not make treaty before a spirit's name is known. Those are the words of the Pontiff Apollyon, who laid down these practices. Yet, times have changed and old powers return from both beneath the world and beyond the stars. Beings without names that can be spoken. What then, Pontiff? Apollyon allows the practitioners access to an infinite number of entities for bargains, patronage, engagement, entrapment, and enslavement. The most practiced occultists have a host of spirits and beings of the outer world at their command. Find them. Let's do that one. The Haunt of Honoros. Ooh. Let's do dark bargains. I'm into it. Let's bargain with some darks. The Tale of Caligara, the Veil of Lies. The 14th tale out of the air begins with the Mirage Mire and ends with the prisoner's plight. Half-finished truths are the limit of our understanding. Infinite veils cover the forbidden truth. Know that false existence does not preclude true life nor true meaning. Can't talk. The effects of the day strengthen the influence of Caligara and weakens its opposite. Dark bargains. When hell still walked the earth as a god and a king, there were those who used this stable to barter with spirits in order to preserve their fragile forms for but another fleet. When hell still walked the earth as a god and a king, there were those who used this stable to barter with spirits in order to preserve their fragile forms for but another fleeting moment. You aim to follow in their footsteps as you begin the ritual of Apollyon and walk the left-handed path. As the tokens are placed upon the table, beginning with Sartova, the world of mortals, and ending with the Fool, the learner's path begins, and a veil is drawn between you and the waking world. I like that. Oh, that's pretty. The feeding pit. A cold sucking sensation overtakes the table, as if a window had been left open in a frigid winter. A vortex opens above the center of the table, spiraling and feeding off of you. You feel yourself drawn towards it, pulled into its abyssal mouth to be consumed, all the while feeling more and more feeble. Be drained. Sweet! You are left cold and shaking, veins black and bulging on your skin with cloudy eyes. This will fade in time as renewed spirit and vitality returns to your body. That's terrible. 3 turns, huh? Okay. Yeesh. The Silent Winter. Sartov is freezing over again. Questions marks. Awesome. You feel a strange shift, finding your mind wandering as you think of the outer themes, the dimensions of energies outside our own. Stopping yourself, you wonder how you came to think of the themes. They aren't even part of your religion, unlike those of Minerva. Strangely, it continues, and your thoughts shift to the image of your mother in the fields of Caspia, thousands of miles away. Your eyes go wide as you clutch your head, knowing with certainty that this image is not true, as your mother is very far from this land of Caspia. You couldn't even place Caspia on a map. Push back and find out where it came from. Hell yeah. The color of 7, the sound of sleep, the first light of spring after an agonizing winter without one's friends. Peace. You follow this train of thought in reverse, leaving a physical world of logical sense as you find the entity responsible for this. A being of the Tor field, the dimension of thought. Chasing it, it moves to the mountains of scorned lovers, and you are instantly surrounded by those awash with sorrow and woe. Attempting to shake it off, you see this being of the mind flitting about at the speed of thought. Moving now to the well of missed opportunities. Got a spelling error there in opportunities. You attempt to follow, but a mortal's mind is fickle and spastic, and you accidentally think of a strange pain upon your face. You awake upon the Apollyon table, warily prying your cheek from its surface. Apparently you've been there for some time, inside this dream world with this entity. Perhaps if the Tor field, the dimension of thought and therefore dreams, was open and spiritual, you might be able to return to it amidst dream. Oh, that was a fun trip. Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. That is a very imposing figure. The horror of Lindvik. With the sound of slashing blades and pincers, a dark figure shambles forth in the shadows around you. It walks with an inhuman gait, as if it's being thrust forward with each movement, and dragging its pitiful body behind. Hooks and scythes extend from its body, poised and ready, stable, unlike the unsteady nature of the body. You cannot make out details, and you do not desire to. Its mouth opens agape and unleashes a pitiful, so hungry wail. You think if you fed its hungry gullet, it might leave you alone. Ah, man, this is a choice, isn't it? I'm not feeding it with myself, am I? Oh, I have to sacrifice an aspect of myself. Oh, dear. What about fighting it? Should I fight it? Let's do it. Choose a physical statistic to damage. So, oh, man. It has to be agility. It has to be agility. Oh, man. It leaps upon you in an instant. It scythes, impaling your back and pulling you closer, where a mouth along the length of its torso bites down upon you, draining you of vitality in seconds. You gasp in pain and terror and strike out, breaking one of its blade arms and finding purchase enough to pry yourself free of its grasp, running away into the night as your blood seeps onto the ground. Shit. I didn't have a good roll there now, did I? All right, eat my agility. That's not so good. That's not so good. No, not so good at all. Tale of Oliana, the Fountain of Accords. The first tale out of the year begins with the Giving Day and ends with a hunter's harvest. This is when the peoples of Vivandir give gifts to one another to celebrate their survival through the winter. The beginning of a new year, for they know, when all are one, every action down to another is done to thyself. The Pipe of Translocation. That sounds fun. A cloaked man with a walking stick walks on a lonely road until he comes upon you, puffs on a long, gnarled pipe, and looks you up and down. You can see his eyes are strikingly bright green, as is his hair. He speaks softly. Good to see another kind traveler. Why don't we sit and smoke a while? You warily sit with him and talk for a while. After some conversation, he offers you his pipe. One puff on this here pipe of translocation. Well, it'll take you places. Just be sure to hold it like this to come back down after. Why not? Duh. That's a no-brainer. You take the pipe and hold it how the man showed you, and as you take a deep breath in, the air around you shimmers and you feel a strange pull at your chest. You find yourself in an entirely different environment. A fresh sea breeze strikes you and you land gently on your feet in warm sands. Turning, you see an ocean sea that is unnaturally calm and peaceful. The waves barely noticeable upon its surface as it presses slowly against the shore. You smile, pleased at where the pipe has taken you. As you begin to walk upon the beach and trail your fingers in seawater. Do not know this sea, though it may be outside the known world entirely. Paying that notion no mind. I'm paying it plenty of mind, personally. You sit on the warm sand and relax for a time, before you decide it is time to return to your ritual. Holding the pipe differently, you puff it again, and a similar sensation takes you right back to the strange man who is chuckling lightly. Very fine indeed. He takes his leave, leaving you bewildered. I like that guy. I may run into him again. Seems like a fine fella. Static fish. Wait, what's this up here? Oh, I'm relaxed. Mental tests will be easier due to stillness of mind. Awesome. Nice passive buff. I dig it. You jump as a small fish pokes its head up over the table edge opposite you, pressing down on the edge like a toddler looking at their father's work. The gentle squishing sound, another follows suit adjacent to it. Then another. They cackle and splittle electric sounds before one hums a single tone which warbles like a vocal cord. Action! Make action! I like these guys. They just join in with a discordant harmony, humming chords of various phrases. So, like, live in the moment? I'm doing that one. They're jubilant cries of approval, as well as declarations of action and potential and whatnot weave strange warp waves in the air that seem to aid you. And as they leave something behind for you. Blessing of intelligence, they blessed my smartness. Well, thanks, guys. It's so weird. It's so weird, but I love it. Okay, my ailments will be ending soon. That's good. Tale of Z, the unexpected element. The fifth tale out of the air begins with the day of originality and ends with the thieves' holiday. What's life without a little chaos? Though the storyteller pens the runic script, an element of contradiction is required, so that the gift of ignorance may birth personality. As the fire of perfect knowledge is the burden of only one, the chaotic mystery of the future path is what allows us to live. This is fascinating. I'm enjoying this kind of lore dumping, and I'm getting bits and pieces of the theologies and such, and the occult is a fascinating subject to me, and this game satisfies a lot of things that go hand in hand with that fascination. This is really dark looking. Vinok. You hear the sound of something snapping around you, just out of the candlelight. It is followed by a slow, rhythmical scraping of bone over stone. Seems to be getting closer and closer, but yet you still see nothing. Fun. I'm gonna attempt to peer through the darkness. The light you have, you managed to catch glimpses of this. Oh, got a spelling mistake in glimpses here. You want an M. With the light you have, you managed to catch glimpses of this creature. You see it curled over itself as it walks on two humanoid legs, multiple arms dragging behind it. Blades of bone slick with ichor. It stops, meeting your gaze, beginning to gargle in a guttural language from the throat. I don't like this! You do not understand it, but know its source still. This is a vernal speech of the demons beneath the world. Okay. He met my gaze and he didn't eat me, so I'm good with it. I'm good with it. I don't like seeing the question mark one. I don't like that at all. Oh, is this Venok again? He's back. This entity. Demon of Avernus, the winding tunnels and cave networks which extend dozens of miles below your own world, stands before you. Its blades of bone slowly rise from numerous arms, extending directly out of its spine. This thing is fucking disturbing, and I love him. Demon beware, this table allows me to speak with your lord. The demon's blades of bone are carefully reattached to its back, standing out like feathers on a bird. The imagery is fucking menacing. Its face of hardened slate and cooled magma seems to express a sense of intelligence, and you get the feeling that it is studying you curiously. It walks around you slowly, speaking again in Avernal. It continues for some time, guttural bile and blood spittling all over its face. Why do they live like this? Till it draws a couple of circles on the ground with a blade, showing you how to invoke him. You don't know if this is an invocation for a fight or for aid or for blood magic or anything, but you do catch what you believe to be this demon's name. Venok. Okay, that's great. I can summon Venok, maybe. The Army of Light. A holy host descends of rays of golden light in the sky. Feathered wings and blades of bronze surround you, as well as angelic soldiers from the other worlds. These archons greet you curtly, and one steps forward, a golden suit of armor twice your height, with a head atop it that you get a strange feeling is only a head. The entity speaks. We are the sacrificial covenant. Through our grace you shall know protection. If you are worthy, come. Prove your worth in combat, and the covenant shall be your ally. Fuck yeah! I failed the test. The battle goes poorly, and you're quickly surrounded and disarmed. Your attempts at magic counteracted. You find yourself with no blessing of protection and a number of cuts and bruises. Sweet. Very cool. I did so well. Oh my god. Bloodseeker of Dagon. Oh dear. The night is silent, broken by a single sound emerging from the veil. A wet dripping from something slick being dragged over the ground. You see a skull pushing itself into the candlelight around the ritual. Blood-slicked teeth curled inward in countless rows. It is long and animistic. I'm assuming animalistic? With horns akin to a demon. It prowls around the table, putting webbed hands with claws on your shoulders as it starts ritual. I don't like that. It speaks slow and wet, every movement letting out a waterfall of bile and blood. Typo here, it looks like. The masters need gifts with blessings of blood, given through the conduit to the bloodseeker. You will feed us, yes? Become anointed? Oh, blood magic, I'm in. Choose a physical statistic to damage. Oh no! Is Christmas not? Oh, I'm gonna die. I'm dead. Oh god. Oh no, it's over. I did. I have no. Oh, I have to do 2. I have to do 2. Now I'm turbo dead. Oh, I'm super dead. Oh no. It's over. Entropy. Ah. This is a fascinating experience, and I'm very much interested to see how the development of this goes down the line. I will be absolutely checking in on any update. I could see somebody losing a whole lot of hours to this game, especially if you can get a little multiplayer sesh going. This is very unique. I'm very much into it, and thank you so much for sending me a key to play the beta for this game. I really appreciate it. I'm going to be digging further into this because the lore is fascinating to me. Fascinating read, and should probably best experience played with the lights off in a candlelit room. Maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe when the full release of this is out, I'll try to just light up my entire area with candlelights, and we'll play it like that. That sounds a lot of fun. So expect more of this game in the future, and I say thanks so much for watching this. I really appreciate you. This is the part of the video where I might tell you who to like and who to subscribe to, but I'm not in the business of telling people what to do. However, if you found your time with me valuable today, please do throw me a like, subscription, and follow me on Twitter. Please do all of those things as it helps me beat the game that is YouTube. All that being said, thanks again. We'll see you next time, and have a good rest of your night. Bye-bye.